Yo, what's going on, Digi Justin? Welcome back to another video. So if you guys are new to Crossworld TCG, we don't really ever do Digimon content, but our teammate Zuhair, who is our primary Digimon player, he did a thing this weekend at the DigiFest. So Zuhair is going to go over his list, and as he'll tell you, he's playing some Spice. But Zu, how was your DigiFest experience, first off?
It was good. It was a lot of fun. I actually like the best of one, kind of, for webcam in particular, just because it goes by like really fast, and by like 4 or 5 p.m. you're done pretty much.
So was this the first event you played, or first event in general that used the new rules, the sideboarding and the mulligan?
Yeah. It's the first. Well, we didn't have sideboard because our event was only best of one, but mulligan was still there, and yeah, it's the first event I played with those rules.
Okay, so it wasn't sideboard best of one, but yeah, how'd you feel about the new rules?
I like it, at least for the mulligan. I think it's very good. I mulliganed like a decent amount throughout the day. Like there's some games I opened with like completely unplayable hands, so mulligan was really good.
That's pretty funny because I remember a couple weeks ago you telling me that it wasn't super useful because like sometimes you'll put your key cards to the bottom, but I mean, you know, it's obviously gonna be contextual.
There's the odd situation where it could be really bad. It could backfire on you if you put key cards to the bottom of your deck, but like when you draw cards that you run like fours or whatever, then like it's not that big of a deal to put them to the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're the expert, so I'm gonna let you just take it away with the profile.
Okay, so we'll start with the eggs first. That's and then I played the 4 Kyaromon and 1 Upamon. I did this ratio over the Upamon because for this effect you don't have to attack to get the draw. For this you have to attack to get the draw. And in this format, swinging at people for no reason is like, if you don't actually have a board lead, it can be really dangerous because if everyone's playing so many Tamers, and if you hit a Tamer, the swing of the game can just like switch over to your opponent out of nowhere. So opted for 4 of those. And, moving on to level 3s, I'll do it like this, it's easier to see. I played 2 Bokomon. It's a really good search card, but I only played 2 because in the mirror match, well, blue is really popular right now in general, and in the mirror match this card is really bad because if you play it out, it'll get stunned in the mirror match, and then it'll start triggering all your opponent's Sora, Joes, Mats, or whatever, and giving them a bunch of extra memory, and you can never evolve over it because it's the only white card in the deck. Actually, there's actually one more white card, but only white level 3, and yeah, it'll just get frozen forever and give your opponent like free memory every turn. It's just not that good in the mirror match. But as a search card, it's really good. So we played 2 of that, and then 4 Strabimon, which is the main searcher for blue hybrids. Search top 3, you can grab a hybrid and or a Tamer. Yeah, just consistency sake, just run 4 so you don't get bricked up. And then 4 of the Madoki Betamon Floodgate. I played 4 of them because it's just I think it's the more important Floodgate. In the mirror match against blue, blocks out memory boost, blocks out hammer sparks, blocks out Azulongmon's effect, and then every color, I think almost every color plays memory boost, so it's just very relevant in every matchup, whether or not you're playing against an actual hybrid deck or not. Like Little Soup has Jack raids that you can block as well, stuff like that. And then I played 3 of the other Floodgate, Siakomon, which is more relevant against hybrid decks because their level 5s reduce get their costs reduced by 2, and this stops that. So if they want to evolve into their level 5 hybrid, they got to pay the full cost, and it slows decks down, helps you control the pace of the game. And then that was it for the level 3s. There was 11 in total, 11 blue ones and 2 white ones, which is the Pokemon. And then moving to the level 4, it's pretty standard for this section. All blue, let's play the same 4 of each of the hybrids. You just have to max them out for consistency's sake. They're search targets off Strabimon. They're also just incredibly good cards on their own. And then this Kumamon triggers the Kyaromon egg when you remove a source, so you can draw 1 for the evolution when you evolve into it, and then 1 for the Kyaromon effect after that. So it helps just like cycle through your deck, control the board, and then this guy, pretty sure everybody knows what it does. It They have no. Their Digimon has no sources. He'll stun it for a turn. They can't attack or block until until the end of their next turn. And that's pretty much how you just like stun boards and gain extra memory out of your Tamers, which we'll get to in a bit. And then the level 5's just the 4 Beowulfs. It's the level 5 hybrid for blue, which allows you to bounce a level 4 or less when attacking. And you can use this to recycle all your hybrids that you play, all your level 4 hybrids, by bouncing them back to your hand after you use them for evolves or use their effects to either remove sources or stun. This card is like really good. It's actually crazy how good it is. So yeah, you should never play less than 4 in that. And then we'll go to level 6. I played 2 Azulongmon. This is probably my favorite card in the deck. I think it is my favorite card in the deck. I kill so many people with it. Its effect is when digivolving, you trash 1 source from each of your opponent's Digimon on the board. And then after that, for every Digimon your opponent has with no sources on the board, you gain 1 memory back for each one. So in the mirror match, actually, this Madoki Betamon can block Azulongmon's memory gain effect, which is another reason why I played 4 of this for the mirror match. And then, but you can see I played a card that I'll show you in a bit that could help play around being blocked in that way. But yeah, this guy is essentially your finisher, or just when you want to put a lot of aggro pressure on and do some damage. This guy always hits for like 2-3 checks at least. So that's like the top end of the deck. And then I played I didn't play a Susanoo. I've actually played 1 Blitz Omni. Because this was a best of 1 format, I thought this was kind of cute because nobody would expect it. And the combo is obviously you go into Azulongmon, swing for the remaining amount of checks that they have once you have enough, and then evolve into Omni and just use the Blitz to kill them for game. So yeah, no. Every time I played this, people got confused. Nobody saw that coming. And then onto the Tamers, I played 4 Sora Joe, 4 Tommy, 3 Davis, and 1 Matt. These I think are like non-negotiable almost. I guess you could maybe cut 1 Sora Joe if you want to play a second Matt. I wouldn't hate that. But Sora Joe is super important. Like the main way you actually win games with this deck is by kind of baiting your opponent into certain plays that you can then stun them and activate your Sora Joes and just gain as much bonus memory as you can for as long as you can, and then just gain like an advantage in that way. Tommy, 4 of pretty non-negotiable as well. 3 Davis, it's a pretty good number. I wouldn't play 4. Sometimes you bottom deck stuff that you don't want to bottom deck, like Hammer Sparks, Ice Wall, and whatever else. So 3 is fine for that. And then 1 Matt is just to have the 2-cost Tamer available to you. Earlier in the game, you can use it to like choke people at 1 memory or choke them at a lower amount of memory. And yeah, it's just very good. Gives you bonus memory, same condition as Sora Joe. And then you don't lose a lot if you have to evolve over it, because it's only a 2-cost Tamer, so it doesn't feel bad like if you have to evolve over Sora Joe. And then the option cards played 4 Hammer Spark, 3 Howling Memory Boost, 1 Forbidden Trident, 1 Ice Wall, and then the other card that nobody saw coming today, which was Win Rate. 4 Hammer Spark. I don't think I need to explain that. It's amazing. Play Hammer Spark, you should probably play it 4. Less than that is just weird. 3 Howling Memory Boost. I really like this card because in conjunction with Sora Joe, it has a lot of synergy. You can stun their Digimon and remove the sources at the same time. And then you can activate your Sora Joes that way, and then again with the Kiaramon egg, this becomes a draw 1 on top of its normal effects because you're removing sources, so you'll draw 1 off Kiaro. So it's almost like giving this card an extra effect, which is really good. Forbidden Trident, this was mostly to get rid of stuff like Gazimon or Floodgates, like Madoki Betamon or Siakumon, whatever those cards are. They're really annoying to deal with sometimes, so if you don't have a Beowulf to bounce them, Forbidden Trident works as well. Ice Wall, one of card is limited to 1 currently, so, and it's that way for a reason, so we just play the 1. And then win rate was awesome because I would always use this to win rate into Azulongmon. So this makes it so that he actually costs only 1 to evolve instead of 5. So the whole combo, if you have a Beowulf out, is to use win rate for 2 and then evolve Azulongmon for 1. So the total cost to evolve him is 3. And then if you gain a bunch of memory back using his own effect, that's a bonus. But this also helps play around people who would leave out a Madoki Betamon to answer Azulongmon, because this Betamon stops the memory gain from Azulongmon's effect, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't affect win rate because win rate reduces the cost. It doesn't give you any memory back. So if your opponent has the Siakumon type Floodgate, you could use just Azulongmon's effect to gain to cheapen his own evolution. And then if they have the Madoki Betamon, which is what people usually played out to counter the Azulongmon, you could just go win rate to reduce the cost by 4 to play around the memory block from this. And that's the part that caught a lot of people off guard and won me a lot of games. And then if you have the full combo with this into Blitz Omni for game, it's just like a complete blow. So yeah, this is the main card that I played that most, I doubt anybody else played these 2 cards with this combo. I just thought in a best of 1 scenario that, you know, if you get hit by this game 1, it's not like you can adapt to it for game 2. You just get, you know, the round's just over. So it's a little cheesy, but yeah, that's what I decided to go with. It worked out. I did it. I pulled off the combo actually in a lot of my games, so that was a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, that's the deck.
All right, awesome. So you went through the deck. I barely know much what you're talking about, but I do have some questions that I think are going to be helpful to people watching out there that are just kind of general to card games. So you said this is like a slightly different version of blue than, you know, a lot of other people play, mostly with the techs you chose to play. So where do you think this type of deck ranks in the meta amongst the other meta decks?
Like my version versus other people's version?
Yeah, plus the other decks that are popular in the meta, like maybe the other colors as well. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Okay. So the main reason I did this was because it's a best of 1, and because if you're playing a best of 3 and you get hit by this combo in like game 1, you could adapt to it and potentially play around it going into like game 2, game 3, whatever. So I thought this combo was particularly strong in the best of 1 because, yeah, you don't have a game 2 to adapt, right? Mm-hmm. If you get hit by it, then you got. So it was really good. But with that being said, I think it's still pretty good, even if they do know it's coming, because it forces them to play around like a multiple amount of things. Like I said, if they have Betamon out, they would have to have Betamon and Siakumon, both Floodgates, out to stop any kind of like Azulongmon play altogether, and sometimes that's just not possible. So that's really good, and I don't know. It's just like my playstyle, I think, is just very different than most players. I'm kind of cheesy. I'm a bit of a cheesy player, so I like hitting people with combos that they're just like, what just happened? I was like, what was that? Or what is that card? You know?
Got you. And then my final question is, what colors do you think this matches up well into or poorly into?
I think it has good matchups all around. Like naturally, one of blue's worst matchups is yellow, just because they're like constantly recovering. They're really good at grinding games out, and eventually sometimes they just like out resource you. But this combo actually helps a lot in that matchup, because the win rate, if you're able to draw into it, can give you a lot of pressure with the Azulongmon, which is what you need to do against yellow. And also, when you are pressuring with Azulongmon, the purple option card, it's called like Schwarz or something, can't hit you because it only targets level 5 or lower. So if you're Azulongmon, it does nothing. And then it allows you to just push harder for less memory, because yellow doesn't play out a lot of Digimon that early, so you don't get a lot of value out of Azulongmon's own effect that earlier on in the game. But when you're reducing the cost and you're paying a total of 3 only for the Azulongmon evolution, it's a lot more like cost effective, and that starts adding up. They have to use a lot like higher cost cards in order to get rid of the Azulong than you used to get into it, if that makes sense, right?
Gotcha. All right, so Zoo, any final things you want to throw out there about the deck, about the experience, and any shout outs you want to throw out there?
I think I spoke about the deck enough. Said most of what I wanted to say. Shout outs. I want to actually give a shout out to, what was his name? Kiki. He's the guy I played in top 16. I lost him, but he ended up winning the whole thing. So congratulations to him. And it makes me feel a little better that I lost to the guy who won. And shout out to you, Joey, and Crossworlds, Team I'm on. It's a lot of fun, and thanks for also doing this video.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.